As quickly as you can, snatch the pebbles from my hand. When you take the pebble from my hand, it will be time for you to leave.
High intensity discharge. I got a better medallion. I'm about to give her the dragon. Blowing on them Bruce Leroy. I got a fetish for fashion. Be around me, know you want to. I'm like regular people. Got them thinking I know kung fu. The way I be kicking that lingo. Be around me, know you want to. I'm like regular people. Got them thinking I know kung fu. The way I be kicking that lingo.
Thank you for tuning in to Enter the Last Dragon. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube as well. This episode is brought to you by Enter the Last Dragon, a little bit of self-promotion. Follow us everywhere. We're on Instagram. We're, of course, YouTube. We're, of course, on this podcast with Podbean. Once again, we appreciate everyone who has subscribed and listened to the podcast, and I look forward to bringing you more great content. Your host, your seafood for the day, your boy, RoyRob. Now, let's get into some martial arts. Welcome back. It's your host, RoyRob, your seafood for the day. We got another one, Enter the Last Dragon fans. We got a great one coming with my boy, Travis. Travis,
what's good, family? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, baby? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We in the building. So, it's been a minute. It's been, I'm on my final episode of season 1, episode number 20. I get to, have you out here representing for me, man. I appreciate you coming back on.
20. I love it, man. I appreciate you having me on again, man. It was a lot of fun last time. I was actually been looking forward to this.
No doubt, man. We got a lot of fun-filled day for the fans today, for the Dragons. So, to start, I think we're going to jump right into the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get your first your let's just get the elephant out the way. We got a big elephant in the room, and he calls himself a fighter who wears a MAGA hat. Let's just talk Colby Covington, get him out the way, just finish it off real quick, so that way we can just put it up and just throw it away. And my boy, your boy, you closer, your homie. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He about to come up and get ready to he's gonna have to represent, man. Let's just talk about that first. Let's talk about the champ.
Well, I mean, this fight has been so Kumaru has been calling for this fight ever since Colby made that comment in Brazil about calling the Brazilian people a bunch of filthy animals. Now, it was a very insensitive comment, and a lot of people, including those on Colby's team at American Top Team, who was a good percentage of his team from Brazil, took exception to that. And another fighter, a good friend of mine, who I grew up with, Kumaru Usman, UFC welterweight champion. At the time, he was up and coming, in the ranks. He took offense to that because his daughter's half Brazilian. And he took to Instagram and explained that. So immediately, he was like, that's a fight I want. I want to smash his face in the dirt. And this has been a long time. This has been a fight that's been in the making forever. And Colby not to take anything away from his skill. I mean, he's in the UFC. He's done what he's had to do, put himself in a position to contend for a title. No matter how much of a clown that we may feel like he is, he's done what he's had to do, and he's handled his business, and he's done it in a fashion to where you cannot question the outcome. You know what I'm saying?
So we definitely are not questioning his athletic ability and his opportunity that he's taking advantage of. He's done that part, right?
Right.
But here's the but. How do you get on everybody's nerve, man? Like, nobody likes this dude. Like, literally, you got people who have said multiple times, his own teammates, nah, that dude don't train when I'm there. Or if I do come in the room, all his boys around, then he get real loud and he talking crazy. But if it's another situation, he's out the back door. And people are literally saying, look, I've gone to places where you were because I know you hang out there. From Masvidal has said something. Tyron Woodley. These are people that's on the same, representing the same squad. Like when I was training there, that dude was nowhere to be found. Now he talking like he big dog. Look, hey, I'm a big wolf. Like he the biggest man on the planet. Like, dude, how does everybody hate you? How's it possible?
He, I will tell you this. He has a face and a mouth you want to punch. I mean, like just looking at him, it screams douchebag.
All right. We've established there, right? Now let's establish the breakdown of the fight. I heard two different things, man. I heard from a reference perspective, it's not going to be an easy fight on either party. Period. Like no matter how aggressive, angry you are, it doesn't give you any advantage per se. Doesn't matter. Like I've seen the case, everybody could throw it out. Like, perfect example: Mike Tyson versus Buster Douglas. My mom passed away. This fight's for my mom, and you saw the outcome.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe you know what I'm saying, but you know what I'm saying. I don't know if that helps. I don't know if Buster. I don't know, but I will say, your boy may be angry, but I don't know if it's gonna be an easy. I'm gonna clean this dude up real easy. I'll say it like that, because I've heard both sides from a wrestling perspective, but it's just like I heard some people saying it can go both ways.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be so gullible and so naive to think that Colby doesn't have a shot. You know what I'm saying? It's the fight game. He's the number one contender for a reason. I will say, coming from where we come from, we beat people like that for less. So, I mean, you know, coming from, like I said, coming from where me and Kumaru come from, we beat people like that up for less. So, it's, I mean, and my boy, you know, not that this means anything, because you can be a prideful person in any, you know, nationality or background or whatever. But Kamaru's Nigerian, and you know how deeply and how close the Nigerian people hold family. And when they feel that family has been disrespected, like, you got to understand something. Like, it's different. Like, Colby feels like he's representing the country. Colby's not representing the country. Colby doesn't even have the entire country backing him. You understand what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
Like, Kumaru has the entire country of Nigeria on his back.
See if your give me 1 second, fam. Mm-hmm. See if your video is coming through.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, keep going.
Yeah. Like, Kumaru has the entire Nigerian country on his back. You know what I'm saying? Even though we grew up in Arlington, Texas, he is from Nigeria. He was born there. He was raised there until a certain age. So his roots are very, very deep. And when there's disrespect, when disrespect crosses that line, if Colby wanted to keep it wanted to keep Kumaru at on an even kill, mm-hmm. He shouldn't have gave him that type of extra motivation. You know what I'm saying? Because he's already.
Makes sense. So you saying literally he hurt himself giving him that gas. Like you put gas in the fire. You trying to put a fire out with what's that, lighter fluid. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're telling me.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like Cam's entire family is like that. Like he got a little brother who's bigger than him.
Wow.
I've seen, and his brother is a heavyweight that fights for Titan, Muhammad Usman. When we were coming up, I've seen Kamaru's the more reserved as far as mouths.
Well, let's break that down. So first, break down for me your relationship with the family, how you know them, and then kind of go into that story again on why you feel the way you feel about this fuel on the fire Covington has just done. So how do you know the family? You grew up with them or something? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I met. So when I moved to Texas from Virginia when I was 13, Kumaru was one of the first people I met. At the junior high. So coming up knowing, I didn't know his older brother too much, but I knew him, and I knew him and his little brother. And he graduated a year before I did. Like we all kind of like ran in the same circles. He was the family is a very proud family, very close knit family. You know, they ride out for each other hard, like harder than any other family I probably have ever seen. You know what I'm saying? The term "my brother's keeper" it's like that with them. And in saying that, they hold family near and dear. You know what I'm saying? Like the Nigerian culture is like that. You know what I'm saying? So when someone comes in and disrespects that in any sort of way, anyone that they consider family, let alone it being a friend, let alone if their child can identify with it for what the disrespect that the individual was putting out, you gonna have hell on your hands. Yeah. And being as that, I don't want it to be misconstrued that and be mistaken that when this fight happens that Kumaru is going to be wild and reckless. He's not that type of guy. He's very calculated. He is very meticulous. He's very cerebral in his attacks. So you saw what he did to somebody he has respect for. Man. You saw what he did to Tyron, and Tyron is like big bro to him. Right. He don't dislike Tyron at all. He has the utmost respect for Tyron. You saw that when he hugged his mama after the fight.
After the fight, man, that was that's real, man. Hey, that's real. That was like one of the dopest moments.
Right. You know what I'm saying? That was the moment of the year for me.
That was moment beast mode.
So what do you think is gonna happen to what do you think he's gonna do to somebody he has absolutely no respect for?
Bruh, I can't wait, man. December 14th is gonna be a lit up time. Now that elephant is out the way, let's get on to what we really need to get on to. So we still on UFC. Mm-hmm. Dragon's out there. It's a lot of energy going around about the homie Adesanya, but who does Adesanya go up against next? I've seen Adesanya talking about the who's next, and he had a dope video out that I saw somebody did on an interview where he was talking about how he's like Goku, man. He's like, I want to fight the best of the best. Mm-hmm. And so that statement is like, okay, well, who is he going to go against? And if you do the math, me and you kind of talked about this a little earlier. His number one through 8 pretty much is kind of a tricky situation because of the who's taking the recent L's, who's taking those losses in that middleweight division. So let's kind of break that down, man. Let's start with the person who is getting the most attention for saying, "Hey, I'm the person, I'm that dude." They're trying to make it make sense. Dana White is trying to figure out how to make it work. I think the papers have already been signed, but let's talk about Yoel first. He's the one that's squeaky wheel gets the oil, but he's the one that's definitely getting a lot of attention, saying, "Hey, I'm that dude, I'm the guy." And as Adesanya saying, like, I just want to fight the best. You talking that, even though you may not look like it because you took some L's recently. Mm-hmm. Give it to me. You know what I'm saying? What's up? So what you think about that Yoel Adesanya, man?
I think that fight it's interesting. I think a lot of eyes are going to be on it for a couple reasons. One is Israel Adesanya. Like, he's very electric. His stand-up is second to none. He's shown that he can go in there and he can bang. He can take a shot. He can, take a licking and keep on ticking. You know what I'm saying? He's very technical. He's sharp. He's very sharp. One of the sharper fighters that we've seen in a very, very long time.
Since Spider-Man, just keeping it 100.
Yeah, definitely. Now, the second reason is Yoel Romero is over 40 years old.
41, I think. Yeah.
41, 42, something like that.
Yeah.
And he is still competing at the highest level. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
if he's gonna do it, this is his time to do it now.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, if you look at his last 3 fights, he's 1-2 as far as win-loss. So his last win was Luke Rockhold, KO'd him. But his last 2 losses were against Robert Whittaker, which was a championship fight, and Paulo Costa, who is the one that Israel Adesanya kind of called out after he beat Robert Whittaker for the belt. Well, Paulo Costa's hurt. So in comes Yoel Romero. Now, him fighting Paulo Costa and losing to Robert Whittaker, both of them respectively, they were both decision losses. And one was split, and I think either both or one of them was split. But their decision losses mean he didn't get finished. So I think even from how I can understand it and how I'm viewing it is, it's all about how you lose. It's how you drop. Either you stay or drop in rankings. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yoel was number 1 and number 2. At some point, maybe he was probably the most recent at number 3. But he's not getting finished. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and he's fighting heavy hitters. He's fighting people that go in there and they finish fights, and he's not getting finished.
So then you drop down just slightly, and look what you're looking at.
Exactly.
Pretty much, what is it? Teal, Gaslam. Who else? Who's all in line there?
Okay, so you got Adesanya as the champion. Robert Whittaker, former champion. Okay, he's not getting an immediate title shot. We know rematch. We know that. Costa's out, injury. We know that. So now that leaves Yoel Romero, Darren Till, Kelvin Gastelum, and Jared Cannonier.
And then Gastelum just lost to Till.
He just lost to Till, so that knocks him out.
And Gastelum Adesanya beat Gastelum, so he's over.
Yeah. Now, look
Till,
at
who's the other one that's under Gastelum?
Jared Cannonier.
That's the one. That's the one. So let's go right there. So if you look at that, we got 3 names that we really need to deep dive into, and that Cannonier is the one that even Adesanya recognized. That's what we really got to put some focus on. So let's just jump on Till right now, because I think we've covered Yoel. Where is Till in your mind? Because in my mind, I thought he was going to get Gastelum. I thought was going to have him. I thought it was over. I thought previously me and you might have talked about this offline,
right?
But what I saw Adesanya do against Gastelum and almost take an L, I just knew he was going to go run over Till. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That didn't happen.
Yeah, I think what that was, Israel. The reason I feel like Kelvin Gastelum was as successful as he was during that fight was because Israel went in there to prove a point. And sometimes that's a toss up. When you go in there and you fight a fight that is tailor made in style for your opponent like that, and that's not how you usually fight. You take the damage that Israel took. So that's why I feel like he was as successful as he was against Adesanya, Kelvin Gastelum, because he's a brawler. He's a shorter fighter. He has to fight in the pocket, and that's what Adesanya was doing. He did not use his reach very well, and he wasn't trying to. He made that very, very clear what his aim was. With Darren Till, it wasn't even close, because Darren Till knew, okay, I don't need to get hit by him. I've seen what he does when he hits people. When all it takes is one punch, and then he follows up with 4 and 5 more very accurately. So what did Till do? He fought like he was 6'2", and he kept him at the end of his punches. He took very little damage, and he won by unanimous decision. So that's why I feel Kelvin Gastelum was not as successful as he was, with Till as he was with Adesanya. Now, the thing with Till is I don't see him getting a title shot, because look at his losses. He's also 1-2 in his last 3. Yes, he won a unanimous decision against Kelvin Gastelum, but he also took an L at a lower weight against the hottest fighter in the game right now, Jorge Masvidal. He got knocked out, and he got steamrolled into a submission by Tyron in their title fight. So if you look at, you're looking at the quality of opponents. This is why he's ahead of Jared Cannonier. Now Jared Cannonier, he's 3 for 3 in his last fights. He's won all 3.
He's the one that even Adesanya was like, okay, he's the dark horse. He called him the dark horse on the interview, the dark horse of the division.
He is.
He's the one
paying him any attention.
Nobody.
He's Corey Anderson. He's Corey Anderson of the middleweights. Because before Corey Anderson's last fight, he was getting, fight night fights and maybe some undercard or whatever like that, but he slowly crept his way up to that number 6 position when he fought Johnny Walker. Now if you look at the rankings, Corey Anderson is number 2 in the light heavyweight division.
Right.
That's why he's screaming title shot. He's in a sweet position as well. So like him and Jared Cannonier are in the exact same boat.
I want to see Cannonier sit back and just get one more sleeper win on somebody, and they be like, "Oh my God, he has no choice." And I'm wondering if that sleeper win is going to be Till.
It's either going to be Till or
And so, because think about it. Think about what we just lined up. So, does Cannonier go and fight everybody's after Adesanya, or does Adesanya say, "Go ahead and give me this dude now"? So it's going to be a choice of what is going to sell the tickets, right? What's going to sell fight. So,
the Yoel Romero fight is going to sell.
So that's going to sell. That's next, right? And then you look at, okay, Adesanya says, "I beat Yoel. I beat Whitaker. I be like literally he's going to be able to say I pretty much beat everybody up in this top, and the only person that's going to be left is just going to try to get that name or that conversation going is going to be Till.
Mm.
Is Till the only person that has not had that opportunity unless he goes back and fight Whitaker again? It'll be Till out of that upper is Till and Cannonier.
Right. Now, here is
Yoel's coming.
You said who's coming?
Yoel's coming. And then how long before Costa? Oh, you think Costa. I didn't even think about Costa. That would be the one. That would be the one. Not Till.
Because Costa has, if you look at his last 3 wins, right? He beat former welterweight champion Johnny Hendricks when Johnny moved up to welterweight. Then he beats Uriah Hall. He knocked him out in Vegas last summer. I was there for that one. It was pretty bad. And then he decisions Yoel Romero, right? So that Yoel Romero fight, never mind the Johnny Hendricks, Uriah Hall. Never mind that. That Yoel Romero fight is what nobody thought he had a gas tank because he's a big guy. You know what I'm saying? It's like he comes and he throws everything, reckless abandon. He's very accurate. He's very sharp and technical, but it's a lot of ill intentions behind those punches. So he puts a lot into it. So the fact that he was able to outlast Yoel Romero and have some success and eke out that win, it showed that he can get a win over a quality opponent. Mm. So he's already proven. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So really it is Costa. So it is Costa get healthy.
Is that fight. It's not there until it's either Yoel or it's Costa. Whichever one, whichever one happens first. Now I can see Sean Shelby and Dana White saying, okay, we see you at number 6, but let's see how you do against a number 2 or a number 3. You know what I'm saying? Just to see where you're at. You know what I mean? And then depending on how he does with those.
That makes sense. So that's what makes me think like here's what I'm wondering. Somebody's gonna have to say, okay, I'm gonna take on Cannonier, and Cannonier is gonna get his jump. Somebody out of that top list we just named is gonna be that person. And if it lines up that Costa comes as a comeback fight against him, and that's his opportunity to jump up for that title after that, or it's Till because he sells tickets being from where he's from.
Right.
Those to me, those are the two that I'm really wondering. Otherwise, it'll be the Whitaker Costa thing. Maybe that I didn't even think about that. I didn't even put that combination back together.
Yeah, that could be that too. Because if you think about it too, if they want Costa to get if they need Costa to say, him to have one more fight after his injury or whatever's going on with him, he's already beat Yoel Romero.
Yep.
In my eyes, Darren Till and Kelvin Gastelum have nothing for him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So person up, if it's not Adesanya, is Robert Whitaker. Because if you talk about title contention, that's a title eliminator right there. So it would have to be fight anybody before Adesanya. It's more than likely gonna be Robert Whitaker.
Yeah, so now I'm back to my first statement then, which I was right then. If it lines up just like you just said, then it would be that Till versus Cannonier. Because that would be the only thing that makes sense based on who's all left down there. But we'll see. I mean, you can't predict the future, you know.
We've seen some crazy things happen, so we'll see what happens,
Yeah, and I know right now everybody's jumping on to the biggest movement right now is ESPN Plus. Let's kind of talk about this streaming thing that's going on, man. Like, I'm kind of moved that pay-per-view fight organizations, everybody is really starting to realize this power and this impact and what's really going on. For example, I mean, we just had a major boxing match happen, and people was not paying attention to the major Canelo. I don't even know who the other dude was. What was his name? Canelo.
Andre Kovalev.
Yes, versus people was paying attention to UFC.
To be honest with you, I wasn't even tracking on the Canelo fight. I thought the fight was the following weekend. I really didn't think Oscar De La Hoya would try to go up against Dana White head to head on a pay-per-view. I didn't think that was crazy to me.
It's a big deal right now, man. So let's put this in perspective, because Teddy Atlas was talking about this. Mm-hmm. Teddy said people missed out because there were so many people paying attention to the UFC fight, one of the best fights ever. And so Teddy was like, it was all right. It was good. And people was like, Teddy's hating. Long story short, Teddy's like, in the 80s, this super mecha era for boxing, where you had the Tommy Hearns, you had the Mike Tysons, you had like so many, just a long list of all these major name fighters. Mm-hmm. It was so much going on with boxing where it was like you're not as thirsty. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like the thirst is here because it's not like this long list. I mean, we get excited for boxing now. It's the Mayweather, Triple G, what's my guy from freaking against Mayweather? Floyd, geez. What's the guy that Floyd, everybody was wanting to see his fight? Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's like these mega big things that had to get built up. But now, man, UFC is almost like, okay, man, I'm the king now. I'm just looking at this. I'm paying attention to this movement that's happening. And ESPN Plus is taking advantage. Pay-per-views is jumping out the wazoo. Bare Knuckle is paying attention. UFC is paying attention. Mm-hmm. Boxing has been the king on the throne, and I think they about to get dethroned. What's your thoughts, man? Let's break this down.
Well, here's my thing with that. I feel like boxing had got dethroned a while ago.
Man, I don't know.
Like and here's why I say this. So the first thing that comes to mind when you say that was I want to say it was probably going into the 2010s, maybe around between 07, 2009, something like that, where Joe Rogan and Lou DiBella did a split screen interview, and Joe Rogan pretty much gave all the reasons as to why boxing is getting swallowed by MMA, because boxing is just one discipline. When you bring something like MMA on, it's literally everything. It's so many different ways you can win. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
you got an opportunity to have the fans who love the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, have the fans who love the karate, have the fans who love Wing Chun, have the fans who love kickboxing, have the fans who love Muay Thai, have the fans who love. You're saying all these different disciplines from everywhere is watching,
including boxing, including
boxing.
You know what I'm saying?
Boxing.
So with boxing, like you said, you hit the nail on the head. It's only a few fighters that people are willing to spend top dollar on. Like, think about it.
It's the price. It's double price.
It's double price, but people are still willing to pay those prices.
Yeah.
To watch certain fighters. You feel what I'm saying? Right. Now, one of the hottest boxers in the game right now is
Triple G or Canelo. What are you talking about?
Lomachenko.
Oh yeah, yes sir. Yeah.
this year, Lomachenko was still fighting on free TV.
Facts. hey.
Bob Arum had one of his top fighters fighting on free TV, and this is supposed to be the next big thing. And Lomachenko was dope. I can't. But he's fighting on free TV. I don't think I don't think anybody's paid to see him on TV just to pay to see him fight on TV yet.
I feel that.
You know
feel that. I see what you did there. I see what you did. I see what you did. I see what you did.
The UFC, you want to see the top fighters fight? Oh, you gonna pay?
Yeah.
The last time, up until maybe recently, like his last few fights, few stints, Anderson Silva's, he had 2 fights on free TV. His first fight in the UFC against Chris Lehman, and then the fight after the first Rich Franklin fight, which was on pay-per-view for the belt, and he beat him. The next fight after that was against Sandman James Irvin on a UFC on a free UFC fight because he went up and weight.
I feel like that first was that first fight in Ohio?
No, that was the second. No, with Rich Franklin.
Yeah, that was Ohio. I'll get to the second one.
Fight.
Okay.
He fought Rich Franklin the second time after he beat James Irvin.
Yeah,
Irvin was coming off an 8-second knockout.
Yeah, I remember that. I know what you're talking about.
That fight was that James Irvin fight was on free TV. Any other fight Anderson Silva had, you had to pay for that. George St. Pierre, I can't even tell you if I've ever seen George St. Pierre on free TV.
Never. So let's talk about this free, man. So, dude, right now we're witnessing something, and it's not obvious to everyone. And I think you pointed it out, man. So smart, and you're thinking regarding this, dude. Bare knuckle fight, pay-per-view. I remember this to a T. 2008. It had to be 2008. I'm on this thing that's really popping 3 years in called YouTube. And everybody is talking about this dude having these backyard fights. Rest in peace, Kimbo Slice. Dude, they've created a now legalized or approved type deal fighting in certain states. Bare knuckle fighting championships, as well as other bare knuckle fighting organizations. There's like multiple approved states. Not all 52 are approved, but I even shout out to my boy Joey Angelo. He's been on the End of the Last Dragon podcast multiple times. He's fought. He's got me more excited as I continue to learn more about bare knuckle. But dude, Kimbo, somebody said, "Hey, you know what? Look at all these people watching this. I think I need to go create myself an organization." Dude, do you see what's happening right now?
It's funny. It's so funny, man. This might be a crazy way to think about it, but you think about the cannabis business, right?
Right.
For so long, cannabis has been so taboo, so frowned upon, outlawed, the whole nine. Fast forward to yesterday, and the bill to decriminalize it federally just passed the House. the same thing with this backyard fighting situation.
Crazy.
They had to really be on the hush about that. They couldn't tell nobody.
There's no Masvidal. There's no Masvidal without Kimbo setting it up. Come on, man.
You know what I'm saying? Now, all of a sudden, Dana White was on record saying that Kimbo Slice will always be the toughest guy at the barbecue. Now, you have organizations that you got to pay to watch on pay-per-view that have actual weight classes.
Yes, sir.
And you have MMA, UFC vets fighting in these organizations.
Yes, dude. This dude, what is it? I think his name's, what is the guy's name from Bare Knuckle Fight? Anyhow, the owner, whoever set that up, I can't remember his name. Gosh, but he's going back and getting some legends.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the Vanderlei Silva. He's going to get Bigfoot. He's got some legends.
Johnny Bedford, Charles Bennett, and Johnny Bedford is their lightweight champion.
Dude, you how do you go get Crazy Horse, man? Come on, man.
It's really, the combat is so broad now. It's so wide open. Like there's something like you can literally say now there is something for everybody.
And do the math on this. This is purely boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's getting pay-per-view. Now look what has happened. So look at this shit. We got people who are not checking in on boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And they checking in on UFC. And then a bunch of other random people that's just like, oh man, these dudes ain't got no gloves on. Let me check in on this. And it's cutting checks. Those people are sorry, boxing, but you're getting some numbers saying, yeah, I'm not going to check that out. I'm going to go check out. People have choices now, and now they're getting a streamlined opportunity to go see exactly what they want to see and not just be saying, I'm pigeonholed just boxing, which I love. I love boxing. It's just, this is a crazy time what is happening right now. Dragons out there, pay attention to this shift that is going on because it is happening. So that we got, just so we on the same page, man, is there anything else that you want to go into? Because right now, I know we gonna cut this one where we're at. You know what I'm saying? Anything else that really is on your mind for the Dragons out there? This is the final episode. After you go, I'm gonna kind of give my sign off for the season 1 into the Last Dragon. What you got, man?
Just before I get into that, I wanted to say, just on the streaming part of it, with the ESPN Plus and the UFC Fight Pass and all of that, yeah, they followed the blueprint and they really need to get, bow down and Vince McMahon.
Oh, good point, man.
Really and truly, because as soon as Vince McMahon came out and said, you know what, the WWE is gonna have their own network where you're only gonna see our content, our pay-per-views, anything from back then, anything nostalgia, you can get it here for a very low price. What did Dana White probably 8 months to a year later said he was gonna do? Have his own network, and he did that. Okay, so what do you do? So Dana White is all about money. So what do you, if you want to keep getting, the pay-per-views people are gonna still buy them. So what do? You essentially kind of cut out the middleman with these cable companies, because you got to give them a higher percentage of the pay-per-view revenue. There's a deal that's in place. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, let me snatch that. And now you have UFC Fight Pass, which literally serves as pretty much regional MMA promotions that's housing them. Then you take, you still have the old UFC Pride, all of that content there. But then you have everything new from the Fox deal and bring it over to ESPN and say, hey, all the fight nights, you get it here. But you got to pay at least $5 a month to watch them. And you're going to you're still going to pay the $69 for the pay-per-view. Oh, Bob, give me all of that. You know what I'm saying? So definitely. So I would say Dana took it a step further than Vince, but that blueprint, that model, you know, shout out to Vince McMahon because he laid the groundwork for that. But but in saying that, man, I really want to, and I got a lot of things coming up. Like I'm in a transition. I'm excited about it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to and speaking of that transition, shout out to everybody over at LFA, Legacy Fighting Alliance. It's LFA 79 tomorrow night in Colorado on UFC Fight Pass. You know, I know a lot of y'all have probably heard the deal that with Access TV that was no more, but UFC Fight Pass picked that up and look forward to an exciting 2020. And shout out to Mark Bury, Ed Soares, Sven Bean, Bobby Terry, Chris Sutton, Sam Chavez, Brandon Harstein, Pat Miletich, man, everybody over on the team, man. Like, shout out to them. You know what I'm saying? Of course, shout out to my coach, and it's becoming a good friend of mine, Pete Spratt. You know, of course, you know, my family, my wife, you know, my son, my daughter, my mother, you know, all my brothers and sisters in arms and armed forces. My brother Jason Fan still out in Michigan. Keith Bad News Bell in Newport News, Virginia. Modern American Mixed Martial Arts in Hampton, Virginia. Impact Tribe in Virginia Beach, Virginia. You know, shout to Coach Darren Lamb at Lamb Striking Academy in Fort Worth, Texas. Man, just, you know, all of the people that support me, man, you know, I support, you know what I'm saying, I support them. And shout out to Rob Washington too, man. You know, him and his family made the transition from St. Louis down to Dallas, and he's continuing to do, you know what I'm saying, like, big things, you know, with that. So shout out to him. And shout out to you know what I mean, shout out to you, man. Like, you I mean, really, you have created a platform for true martial arts enthusiasts. You feel what I'm saying? And, like, in a short amount of time, man, you have moved the needle in a way that it was unexpected but expected at the same time, because of your drive, because of your ambition. And I want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. You know what I mean?
Brother,
I can't wait for next year. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Like, what Enter the Last Dragon is going to do with our partnership, me and you, is going to be on a whole nother level. Mm-hmm. And it's really just going to be on that thing of how do we apply it and make sure it just comes to light. And with both our drive, it's going to be 2020 is going to be that banner year, brother. It's already in the works. It's coming. It's coming.
With that's the theme music. 2020 is gonna be theme. Y'all gonna love that theme music, man. I'm telling you.
Bro, hey, just on the strength, man, I gotta give you another big shout out on coming up with the idea out of the random blue for me to say, you know what, your intro needs to be Kung Fu. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm about to enter the dragon. When I heard the song, I was like, what? How's this even possible? And it to tie together, man, be honest with you, it's so many things that my channel, my podcast, all blends in and comes together. It just made sense for Enter the Last Dragon. Like, it just makes sense. Like, you literally, like, and this is on another podcast. And we're about to wrap this up because I want to stop here, but I have so many. You just really got me going. but just Enter the Last Dragon, just so the people who are, if this is your first time listening in, so that you know, Enter the Last Dragon is a place where people who love martial arts can come and feel comfortable in their own skin, doesn't matter whatever discipline you are in, but also it blends in our culture. And I say our culture, anybody who is a true representation of being themselves, whether it's a person like me, a black man, person like you, a black man, a person who may be any origin, doesn't matter, but you are comfortable being yourselves and you have no bias against nobody else. I feel like you can enter the dragon. So if you that nerd who just loves animation, if you're that geek who just loves gaming, if you are that MMA fighter, if you are that wrestler, if you're a boxer, it doesn't matter. I feel like everybody has a dragon inside of them. And my platform, I saw RZA talking on Joe Rogan's show, and he summed it up so perfectly, talking about how Bruce was the first cat that kind of said, okay, let's get away out of ourselves, out of our own way, and talk about styles, and how he was kind of like blending all these styles and everybody was coming together. And I thought about how I grew up, and I was like, dude, I grew up loving Kung Fu, animation, art, like comic books, everything, and all this stuff. And now if you look at everything that's going on right now, and then you put, like, all of a sudden you put all that stuff in there and you dump all that stuff in, like you cannot throw in there a Wu-Tang and be like, dude, that represents me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you just be like, you can go just like this and be like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, period. Like, dude, it's no confusion. And Enter the Last Dragon is that space for that, man. It's like, I feel like I have good people like you that's going to help push this thing to the level it needs to be, man. Like, it's going to be that banner year. So to all my dragons, get ready. This is the last episode of season 1, episode number 20. Get ready for season 2. We got a lot coming your way. We're going to go into all types of MMA. We're going to go into all types of Kung Fu, martial arts, Muay Thai, karate. We're going to go into all type of animation, gaming. We're going to go into all types of comics. And we're going to put you in a place where you feel like you want to be. And not to be corny, but we're going to go into that place where you want to be like Cheers. So, hey, my boy Travis, your host, your seafood RoyRob, signing out. Appreciate you, Trav. I know you did your thing. Keep coming at it. Keep grinding hard. And I will check you out next time, fam.
All right, bro. Much love.
Much love. Later.
All right.